One afternoon this summer, this scoreboard fell 1,153 points. That is the biggest one-day point move anywhere in my archive. Same afternoon, a second scoreboard fell 571 points, less than half as much. So which of those two had the worst day? Most people answer that with the bigger number. And the bigger number is wrong. It is not even the right way to ask the question. Measured honestly, the one that fell 1153 had a 2.19% day. The one that fell 571 had a 2.06% day, 13 hundredths of a percentage point apart. Effectively, the same afternoon. Here is where this ends up. 4 numbers of the kind you get handed every day and what each of them actually was. Now watch me take it away because you should not take my word for any of it. 4 parts, every figure measured off my own archived session data, and we come back to 1153 at the end. Let's go. Start with what a point is because it is not what most people think. A point is not a fixed amount of money. It is one unit of whatever the thing was already worth. The Dow went into that afternoon at about 52,700. The Nasdaq 100 went in at about 27,800, nearly twice the level. So 1 point off the Dow is a much smaller bite than 1 point off the Nasdaq. Draw it to scale and the argument is over. The whole bar is the level the move came out of. The colored piece on the end is the move itself. 1,153 points out of 52,700 is that much. 571 out of 27,800 is that much. They are the same sliver. There was a third scoreboard in the room that afternoon. It fell 113 points, a tenth of the Dow's number, and it was a 1.52% day, smaller than the other two, but nowhere near 10 times smaller. The littlest figure on the screen was not the littlest move. So the missing number is the one nobody ever prints, not the change, the level the change came out of. Change divided by level. That is all a percent is. One division, and every one of those numbers starts telling the truth. 1 down, 3 to go. 1 point number, 1 level underneath it, 1 division, and the row fills itself in. So what happens when the 2-point numbers come out nearly the same? 4 sessions later, the whole market went up and it handed me the mirror image. The Nasdaq gained 956 points between the opening bell and the close. The Dow gained 907 over exactly the same hours. 49 points apart out of more than 900. If a point number meant anything on its own, those are the same day. They are not the same day. The Nasdaq had a 3.32% day. The Dow had a 1.71% day. Nearly twice the move off a headline number that was almost identical. Same reason as before, running the other way. 956 came out of about 28,800. 907 came out of about 53,200. Almost twice the level underneath, so almost half the move on top. And the S&P 500 that day gained 136 points against the Dow's 907, and it still had the bigger day, 1.79%. 2 down, and look at what those 2 rows already disagree about. The first one says the bigger number was the smaller move. The second one says 2 matching numbers were nothing like the same day. Now the same trick with a share price, because this is the version that costs people real money. On that same up day, one of the 4 names on my desk sheet gained $63 a share. Another one gained $37 a share, barely more than half as much. The $37 move was the bigger day, and it was not close. Micron up 7.62%, Palantir up 29.45%. Almost 4 times the move on a dollar figure a third smaller. Because Micron went into that day around $830 a share and Palantir went in around $126. Same missing number, same division. Which brings us to the part most people have backwards. A share price is not a size. It is a price per slice, and the company chooses how many slices there are.
An $800 stock is not expensive. A $100 stock is not cheap. Neither word means anything until you finish the sentence. Expensive compared to what?
Let me be careful here. These are 4 names, 1 desk flagged on 1 day. 4. That is not a survey of the market, and I am not going to dress it up as one. What it is 4 clean demonstrations of the same arithmetic. 3 down. 1 row left on the board, and it is the number we started with. So back to the 2 numbers we opened with and the question that came with them. The biggest point move anywhere in my archive, sitting next to one less than half its size. 2.19 against 2.06. 13 hundredths of a percentage point between them. That is the answer to the question we opened with. The bigger number was never a bigger move. It was a bigger starting number. And that is the whole board. 4 figures you would have heard as 4 different sizes and 4 honest answers underneath them. The habit is 3 words long. Out of what? Somebody hands you a point number. Out of what? A dollar move on a share price. Out of what? Divide the one by the other and you have a percent. Percent will not tell you why anything moved. It will not tell you what happens tomorrow. It answers exactly one question. How big? And that is the one question the big number was quietly getting wrong. The scoreboard is not lying to you. It is answering in a unit that only makes sense next to a number it never shows you. Next time we take the biggest number on this board apart from the inside and look at what the tape was actually doing while it happened.